guys, welcome back to my channel. Okay, my name is Julie, and on this channel we talk about books, literature, development, and a sprinkle of other things here and there. If that sounds like your cup of tea, please feel free to subscribe to this channel, share this video with your people, give this video a thumbs up. Let's be friends. So as I'm shooting this, it's a holiday in Kenya. There's a lot of children playing around, so if you hear some kids in the background, let's just ignore and pretend that they're not there. And yeah, let's move on. So today we're going to be having another battle of the books. Yeah, okay guys, I think I'm high on life, but anyway, yeah, today we're going to be having another battle of the books, and it's going to be between two books I read this month, October, and both of these books I feel things about them. Yeah. So the first book is going to be You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty. This is a new book by Akwaeke. It just came out this year, and yep, that's option one. And then the second book in the battle of the books is this, Dele, Weds, Destiny by Tommy Obaro. This is her debut novel, also just came out. I got the hardcover, which I really don't like, but I tend to just buy the books because I FOMO. Anyway, so these are the books that are going to be featured in today's battle of the books. For those of you who are new in this channel and don't know what that is, battle of the books is where I just take two books that I feel like are okay to be compared, and I give my thoughts about the two books and what I think people would like or not like about them, and also I finally choose my winner between the two books. This is done in a very friendly kind of manner, like it's not to upset you if I talk badly about your favorite author. It's all just vibes here, so don't take it personally. It's all good vibes. Both of them did a good job in actually just writing a book and putting it out there and having me read it without DNFing it. That's already very good. So that's all that the battle of the books is. Let's go. So the first book, You Made a Fool of Death with Your Beauty, is basically a story about our main character called Femi. Femi is a widow. She married immediately after campus, and her husband died less than a year within the marriage in a horrible car accident, but she survived the accident. So naturally she's very traumatized, she's hurt, she's in pain. If you've ever experienced the death of someone close to you, you know that grief has no pattern. Like one day you'll feel okay, the other day you're in the abyss. So basically that's how Faye was. And Faye's best friend is called Joy. They've been friends since college. They're good friends. Both of them identify as bisexual. Faye, it's been now 5 years since the accident, and Faye is now ready to get back into the dating scene. She is 29. She's ready to get back into the dating scene, and she's just trying to come out of this place where she feels so numb and dead, and she just wants to be alive. Basically, her process of being alive is messy as hell. Messy. She links up with one person, feels like okay, she did not want anything serious with anyone, so it's like the moment she feels something getting serious, she goes to the next. So the first person we're shown she linked up with was Milan, but after a while she did not want that, so she left Milan and ended up linking up with Milan's friend called Nasir. And she told Nasir, I want things to go slow and whatnot. And after that, Nasir's father is some rich chef, connected Faye with some art show because Faye is an artist, and ended up taking Faye back home to where his chef dad lives. And yeah, Faye ends up again falling for Nasir's father. So yeah, I don't want to say more than that because then that will now be spoiling the rest of the book. But basically, Faye is a very, very messy character, and I feel that this book, the reception it got is that people were all over, because Akwaeke chose to write like things that will be considered taboo. But when I really think about it, someone who is grieving can really react in the most insane ways, to be sincere. I've seen it a number of times, especially if someone is grieving a loved one and they're trying to find love at the same time. It can really be messy. So without saying much, I'll just say it's safe to say Faye is hella messy. Very, very messy, period. She's just messy. And the way the book is written, it's supposed to be a romantic story, but I just had issues with it. Not necessarily even the way Faye was moving, though that also I had issue with. I just felt like the romance part of this wasn't depicted as well as I would have loved it to. How Faye and Alim, who is Nasir's father, ended up being, to me, I had some question marks. But I would say also my reaction to this is also because I feel like Akwaeke's writing might not be my cup of tea. It might not be. You guys remember when I did my review of The Death of Vivek Oji, and I said that it was a good book and I enjoyed it, but I wasn't getting the wow factor. I kind of felt the same about this book. I just feel that Akwaeke is a very, very talented writer, so she has a way of writing her prose such that you do enjoy writing, but the story itself, I felt like, okay, not bad, not extraordinary, just somewhere in between. However, I've seen other people give this book like 5-star review, 5-star and 4-star reviews, so I do know there's an audience that will surely enjoy this book, but for me, it was neither here nor there. Then we have book number 2, Dele, Weds, Destiny. Dele, Weds, Destiny is a book about friendship basically, and it has 3 main characters. One is called Zainab, one is called Funmi, I hope I'm pronouncing that well, Funmi, and another one is called Enitan. Yeah, Enitan. These are 3 friends who met while at the university, and one thing I was so shocked to read is that they were at the university when they were 15 years old. Is this how the Nigerian education system operates, or was this based in a time back? I didn't understand. I was shocked, but anyway, I'm just pointing that out there. And these are 3 very unconventional friends, I will say. Like, their characters, their personalities are very, very different. So Zainab and Enitan met because they ended up being roommates while at the university, and Zainab's father was some big professor, so they were well off, and she was raised by 2 of her father's wives because her own parent died during childbirth. Enitan chose the university that she ended up in because she wanted to put some distance between her and her mother. Her mother was over-loving, overbearing, and always making her feel like, without you, there's nothing else in my life. And then she went into extreme Christianity. Her mother just had her own issues because she got pregnant with Enitan and then ended up a single parent at a very young age. So she generally felt like her life was not really, like, it's kind of like, you know, like how a parent can feel like you stopped their life, but because they really love you so much, they won't necessarily tell you that. That was that. And then Enitan decided to just put some huge distance between them and went to university far away. And then finally we have Funmi, who grew up with her stepmother, who was extremely mean and cruel to her. And one day things got to her head, and her father chose her stepmother over her and sent her to live far away with her aunt. And Funmi just decided from then on that she won't care about her her father and stepmother. And she also realized that as a girl blossoming, she really attracts men, and so she started using her beauty to trap men and get them to do what they want. So when they were in campus, Enitan and Zainab were already roommates, so they were already friends, doing a lot of things together. Zainab was a writer, and she was writing like her own nice African plays. And one day Zainab had a boyfriend who Fumi kind of wanted. So one day when Zainab was doing some auditions, Fumi came just to check her out. Long story short, they did end up being friends, the three of them. And after campus, as life always does, they all ended up in extremely different situations. Enitan always used to feel like the least beautiful when it comes to the three of them. So the first man who showed her attention was some white man, and before anyone knew, they got married and eloped back to America with this man. She didn't even tell her best friends, so that created a rift between them. Fumi, because she loved beauty and the life of opulence, got married to some gangster man whose business is not fully known. And Zainab ended up marrying the man that she loved, despite that causing a huge rift between her and her father. But basically, now where this book brings us in is 30 years after campus. So these ladies remained friends after campus, yes, but they had not been together, the three of them, until 30 years later when Fumi's daughter Destiny was getting married. So the other two had to come. It's really, when I first saw that this is a story about friendship, I wasn't too keen on it because stories about female friendship tend to be strange, but this author really did a good job in telling us like how these friends met, what happened in their friendships, how each kind of lived their life outside the friendship. For example, for Zainab, her husband ends up having 3 strokes and she ends up like being a caregiver for the husband. Enitan, who ran away to the States with the husband, got a divorce and she's a single parent now with 1 child who's a very, justice for everything, blah blah blah. Funmi ended up with the golden life that she wanted, but she's not happy. She just feels empty because her husband is sleeping with other people. So it just shows life happens. What I got from this book is where you are now, you really can't predict how things happen in the future, because people, while they're in campus, we saw maybe you could say, okay, this one seems to be the one who will end up happy, nini, but in future we now meet all of them in their 40s, each struggling with their own demons, but they somehow maintain their friendship. I feel like I've talked a lot, so I'll go into what I liked about both of these books. For this, I've already said I liked the writing. I liked that the author was not afraid to show us. I like that the author was not afraid to show us how messy grief can be. I like that there was a lot of representation in this book about different identifications and showing them in an okay light. I think that's it. For this one, Dele, Weds, Destiny, I loved the writing. I loved the authenticity of the writing. The author gave us, like, she really made us feel like we're in the scenes, especially the scene of Dele and Destiny's traditional marriage. I felt like I was there. I could picture it, especially because also we've grown up watching a lot of Nigerian stuff, and I could picture myself in the wedding. I could picture the accents. I could picture the opulence of how they were spraying like the couple with money. I've seen this before on TV and they captured it extremely well. So I love that. What I didn't like about these books, for this, I can't put a finger as to what I really didn't enjoy about this book, but I'm starting to accept maybe Akwaeke is not my cup of tea. I did feel like the first half of the book was good. I was fully enjoying it. The second half is where I had an issue because it somehow got a bit redundant after Faye decided that yes, she wants Nasir's father, who is almost 20 years older than her. It got a bit redundant, and I didn't like how they kind of villainized some characters. while I understand how grief can make you move mad, I do feel like for someone who they're trying to show us is self-aware and all, that doesn't excuse your behavior. That might be just me speaking from my moral high ground, but yeah, I just felt like, I don't know, I also felt like the romance was very rushed. Like, how are you crashing, like for example, Alim, how are you crashing your whole family's ties just for someone you've met barely 2 months? I don't know, that's just my honest opinion, but I felt it was a bit rushed. The progression of things was very rushed towards the end. Maybe it should have been a bit longer, I don't know. I also felt this book was quite woke. Use that information however you want to. For this, what I didn't like about this book is I didn't quite understand what the point of the book was. Let me explain. The book was great. The writing was great. We got this story about the 3 characters and their background, how they're linking up for Fumi's daughter's wedding, but I didn't really. What was the point of this book? Was it to show how friendships can change over time? Maybe. I don't know. Also, for a book named Dele, Weds, Destiny, these 2 were like the least talked about characters in the book. Literally, I don't understand how the naming of this book came about to be Dele, Weds, Destiny. And I must admit, when I got this book, I got it because I thought there will be a whole thing like between Dele, Destiny, how they met, how they dated to the wedding. That's honestly how I thought this book would be. So for us to have just the small wedding scene towards the end, and even Dele, we really don't know anything about him. I don't know. I don't understand this title. I sincerely don't also understand this title. You made a fool of death with your beauty. I don't know. I hear it's a lyrics from, I don't know, Florence and the Machine Gun something. I don't understand these titles. Is it that people just stopped naming books according to what the story is going to be, or are people nowadays just naming books whichever way? I don't know. Anyway, out of these books, if I was told to choose between Dele, Weds, Destiny and this, my choice would be Dele, Weds, Destiny. I just found this book more rounded, more my type of book, more my cup of tea. The story was unique in its own way. For a debut book, the author really did something incredible here. It has its own misgivings, but I did enjoy this. Not to say I did not enjoy this. Well, I didn't enjoy it much, but it's a good book. It has a target audience, and I've seen many people rave about it. So you can let me know between the two books which one you prefer. If you've read any of them, which one do you think you're going to read? And yeah, I think that's it, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching. Bye.